Hey guys, so this is the first screencast that I am doing this year. I'm sure there will be a lot more later in the year, but I just wanted to try this out and see how it goes. So I hope you guys enjoy it. The subject that I am doing our screencast on today is up here at the essential question. You see it says, what are ways we can model a multiplication problem? So I'm going to be showing you two different ways that you can model a multiplication problem, which just means to show your thinking, to show how to solve it using a picture or using a model. So the first model that we are going to discuss right now is the area model. And here is my multiplication equation. 6 times 3 equals, and we don't know the answer yet. Some of you might say, oh my gosh, Mr. Atkinson, 6 times 3 is so easy. I already know the answer to that. Okay, that is fine, but we are going to practice using these models and showing how to represent your work, showing how to show work for solving this multiplication equation, other than just knowing the basic fact. So the first thing that I need for an area model is a shape. For this specific example, I'm going to use a rectangle. To go along with my rectangle, I'm going to now look at my multiplication problem, and I'm going to assign a width and a length to go along with my shape. So my first number is 6. As you can see, there's a 6 right here. So I'm going to make my width, since that is longer, I'm going to make that 6 centimeters. And then, since I have labeled my width and I have my 6 now on the area model, to go along with my square, I'm now going to take the 3 and I'm going to make that my length. So now I have the 6 labeled as my width and the 3 labeled as my length. And the reason it's called the area model is to find the area of a shape, we need to multiply the two numbers together. So we would multiply 6 times 3. We know width times length equals the area. That is why this is called the area model. So I look here, and right now it is blank. I would not suggest. You can draw a rectangle without using graph paper, but the area model helps a lot more if you're using graph paper. So for example, you would put 6 as the width, which means you would draw your rectangle as 6 squares across on your graph paper. Since I don't have graph paper, I went ahead and I made something that kind of looks like what the graph paper would look like. So if you were doing it on graph paper, your rectangle would look like this: 6 squares across and 3 squares down. 3 squares for the length, 6 squares for the width. And then I can use this to solve. So if I don't know my 6 times 3 multiplication fact, I can solve it by counting the squares. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. So I told you I don't want you to use squares, counting the squares, as your first way to solve multiplication. I want you guys to learn those multiplication facts and be able to know them quickly. But if you don't, then counting the squares is easily just going to be an easy way to do it. Just know that when you get to bigger multiplication problems, that's going to make it a lot harder. But but for using the area model and you don't know this multiplication fact, then counting the squares is a good method to help solve to find the answer. So the area model kind of looks like this. You take your multiplication problem, you add it to a rectangle. So I would say using graph paper to help yourself draw it on there, and then you can solve it by counting the squares. So that is the first example. The second example for modeling a multiplication problem is the array model. I know some of you guys are familiar with the array model. This is just a reminder. So once again, my multiplication equation is 6 times 3, and I'm going to show using an array. So remember, arrays, I usually use circles to make an array. You can use whatever shape you want, as long as you are using the theme that goes across for arrays. It has to be the same number of rows, or not the same number of rows, but the same amount in each row. So first of all, I look at my first number and I have 6. So I'm going to say I have 6 circles in each row. So I am going to bring over 6 circles. So on your paper, you would be making 6 circles. This is to show I have 6 in each row. And then this goes along with, now that I have my 6 in each row, I know how many is going to be in each row. Then my 3 tells me how many rows I will have. So now that I have 6 in each row, I am multiplying that by, I have 3 rows. So I bring over my other 2 rows to now I have 6 circles in each row, and I have 3 rows of circles. Once again, kind of like the area model, you can count the circles to help you come up with the product, the answer to our multiplication problem. So if we count it out, it says 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. So we would put in 18 as our answer. Ooh, it did something funny. So 18 would be our answer for that one, and like earlier we solved this one, 18 again would be the answer. Oh, do not forget the centimeters. Well, remember we were just using that as an example. So we don't actually have to have centimeters for our area model to solve we don't have to have it for this multiplication equation because that was just an example. So as you can see, we have our area model. Oops, sorry, just move the screen. We have our area model, we have our array model, and these will be our 2 ways to model a multiplication equation. If I go to our next page, now I have an example. So it says, draw a model and write an equation for the following. So now we have comparison equation problems right here. So 3 times as many as 9 is 27. That is called a comparison multiplication problem. So they told us to do 2 things here. So if you are doing this, if you are trying to solve this problem, you would do both of these. It says draw a model, and it says write an equation. So first of all, we know how to do a model. I just showed you. So the model that I'm going to use is an array. But even before I do my model, I like to do the equation first because it kind of helps me understand it. So I would be writing down 3 times as many as 9 is 27. That keyword there is times. So it's not 3 more than 9. It's not 3 less than 9, but it's 3 times as many. So therefore, it is a multiplication problem. It would be 3 times as many as 9 times as many as 9. And then they already gave us our product, so we don't have to solve for it. Our product is 27. They gave us the product because they just want you to understand how to write the equation to go along with this comparison sentence. So first of all, if I want to use the array model for this one. So I look and I see that I have 3 circles for this first one. I have 3 circles, so I am going to make 3 circles. So I have 3 circles in each row. As you can see on my array model, I have 3 circles in each row. And now I need to multiply that by, I have 9 rows. So I have already done this. It might take you a few more minutes to do, but I'm going to add 8 more rows so that in total I have 9 rows, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, with 3 in each row. And if I counted all of these circles up, if I counted them by 1s or if I counted by 3s, I would get to 27. So those are just a couple examples of how you guys can to show models. Actually, sorry, I'm going to show one more. So that was how to do it with an array model for 3 times as many as 9. Now I'm going to show the array model. So I will draw a rectangle. Once again, I would use graph paper. Graph paper, drawing squares on just a regular piece of paper doesn't help as much. Graph paper, it gives you the tiny squares to help you count it out. So again, I have 3 times as many as 9. So 3 times, I'm going to make my length going up 3 times as many as 9. And then it would equal, and then I would write my multiplication equation just like I did over here. 3 times 9 equals 27. So hope you guys understand the 2 different models on how to represent a multiplication equation. And then you will have some extra problems to practice right now to show the array model and show the area model. All right, have fun.